Welcome to the Real Lost Boss podcast.
Hello, welcome to episode 33 of the Real Lost Boss podcast. Step off that roller coaster of weight loss. Yes, the roller coaster of weight loss. The one we've been on for years and years and years. I was on it for 25 years of my life, and it's basically that same old routine. Lose weight, gain it back. Lose weight, gain it back. Down, up, down, up, down, up. And yeah, things have got to change. We've got to step away from it. And I am talking about weight loss over a longer period of time. You might be having your own little mini roller coaster of weight loss at the moment. You might be weighing yourself weekly. If you are weighing yourself weekly, it means you're not listening to me properly. But if you are still weighing yourself weekly, and basically you get on the scales one week and you lose, you get on the scales the next week and you've gained, and it's a loss and then a gain and then a loss and then a gain. It's sort of rotating like that, week in, week out. You're basically maintaining your weight. That is basically what you're doing. And I do have a few clients that are in that situation, and you know, it's my job to help them step out of that situation. But you have got to step off the long-term roller coaster of weight loss. There's a difference between weight loss success and a successful weight loss journey. And that is what you want. You want a successful weight loss journey. I'll talk about weird and wonderful fad diets all the time, and I might mention them on some of my content that's on social media. And if I do a post on Slimming World, there'll always be someone that comes on and says, you know, my aunties, uncles, goldfish brothers, dogs, cousins, hamsters, son has lost 5 stone on Slimming World, or are currently 5 stone down on Slimming World. That is successful weight loss. And if you stick to any weight loss method in the world for a period of time, there is an extremely good chance you are going to lose weight. But the roller coaster of weight loss is you lose that weight, successful weight loss, but then the journey ends. You hit a dead end, and when you hit that dead end, you hit that brick wall, you gain all that weight back, and more often than not, you gain more weight back. So you might do, I don't know, the ketogenic diet. Carbs are the enemy. I'm not going to eat carbs. And you might do that for 3 or 4 months. And over 3 or 4 months, you might lose 2 or 3 stone. And while it's happening, you're probably promoting it to everyone, you know, Doris at work, you know, John in the pub, whoever. Oh, I'm doing the ketogenic diet. It's fantastic. You know, you just don't eat carbs and I've lost 2 stone in 3 months. Sounds amazing. But eventually, the unsustainability of doing that ketogenic diet means you'll hit a brick wall. Now, while you're on it and you're promoting it like mad and you're 2 stone down, and yes, your clothes are fitting better, you feel fitter, you feel healthier, you feel less bloated, you're moving less weight around, so life's just a little bit easier in general, it all feels good. But subconsciously, that weight loss method is going to be unsustainable, and that's when you hit a brick wall, and that's when you gain your weight back. And that needs to stop. That is the roller coaster of weight loss. How many of you listening stroke watching this podcast now are heavier now than the first time you started dieting, losing weight, going on a diet? You might feel like you've been dieting for the last 15 years, yet you could be sat there now listening to me waffling on, and you're currently 3, 4, 5 stone heavier than the first time you ever joined Slimming World, Weight Watchers, started doing Rosemary Connolly in the 80s, whatever weird and wonderful fad diets you've attempted. And this is, you know, kind of a result of the roller coaster of weight loss, the lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight scenario that many of us have been through. And like I say, I was first put on a diet 89, 90. I was about 9 or 10 years of age. And really from that time, I always felt like I was trying to lose weight. And I wasn't trying to lose weight, was I heck? But I felt like I was. You do a crazy fad diet for 2 or 3 months, And it feels like you've been on it for years at times. And then you come off it, and for 9 months you go back into your old habits, and then you try another fad diet, then you come off it, then you try another fad diet, then you come off it. But the overall feeling is you feel like you've been trying to diet 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And, you know, the first time I was put on a diet, I have no idea what I weighed. I think I was knocking on, I'm going to say 18 stone when I started high school at 11 years of age. And that was just before, not just before, sorry, just before I started high school was when I first went to my local GP with my obesity. I was then directed to a dietitian, and that was sort of the first time I went on a diet, as it were. And yeah, I felt for years and years and years until I started my weight loss journey in 2014. I genuinely felt from 1990 to 2014, that's 24 years, felt like I was constantly dieting. Yet, you know, starting high school, I was 18 stone. When I started my weight loss journey in 2014, I was 37 stone. So, yeah, I might have felt like I was constantly dieting, but the reality is I gained 19 stone over that time while dieting. And a big result of that gain, a big reason for that gain was because the roller coaster of weight loss, trying these crazy, weird and wonderful fad diets, crash dieting, over restrictive dieting, losing weight for a period of time, hitting a dead end, going back into old habits, worse than I was before, and then gaining all the weight back and more. Why do we need to step off the roller coaster of weight loss? Well, A, it isn't going to lead to long-term success on a weight loss journey. That's proven. The science proves that. You know, it proves that the more we yo-yo diet, the more we crash diet, the less likelihood there is of long-term weight loss success, and the more likelihood is that we're going to gain even more weight. How I describe it is, I talked about this recently on one of my social media lives that I do. It's kind of like, you know, I always call restrictive fad diets like being in a calorie jail or a weight loss jail. And when you are overly restricted for a period of time, you want to break free. You want to break out of it. You know, I think I used the analogy recently of being in a bear hug. So getting in, you know, someone puts you in a bear hug. Not that that should be, you know, what's the word? A regular occurrence, as it were. But if someone puts you in a bear hug, you try and fight out of that bear hug, right? This might just be a lad's thing, but it does happen from time to time. And you get in this bear hug and you try and fight out of it. And when you actually get released from it, you don't just go, all right, cheers, thanks for letting me go. You flail your arms everywhere. You might be turning around, pushing people because you're annoyed. You've been trapped and you just want to break out. And that's a very common scenario with these restrictive fad diets. And that's kind of why, you know, you lose weight quite quickly, or you go on one of these fad diets and you gain it all back and more. It's that over restriction leads you straight back into old habits times 2, times 3, times 4. So yeah, the roller coaster of weight loss, yo-yo dieting, is not going to lead to long-term success. It's also physically and definitely mentally destroying. Now, it's not always physically destroying. It's definitely always mentally destroying. Why would yo-yo dieting, crash dieting, the roller coaster of weight loss, losing weight over quite a short period of time, gaining it all back over a slightly longer period of time, why is that physically, well, you know, detrimental to our health? Well, depends how you're trying to lose weight. You know, if for 3 or 4 months you're doing 800 calorie diets like the Cambridge plan or Slim Fast or any other shake diet like Herbalife or Juice Plus and stuff like that, you know, that is malnourishment. You are starving yourself, and that is not good for your body. You're not fueling the body correctly. We get all our nourishment, all our vitamins, minerals, nutrients from what we eat and drink. That's where it comes from. So if we're over restricting our bodies, and I know a lot of these fad diets, it's a complete shake, 200 calories, it's got everything the body needs. It hasn't got everything the body needs, not at all. Likewise, you might be doing calorie counting, but you're doing a crazy 800 calorie a day diet, or you're doing something like alternate day fasting or OMAD once a day. Again, that's going to lead, if it's not done correctly, well, even if it's done correctly, is there a way of doing it correctly? I have no idea. But again, it could be physically detrimental to our health through malnourishment. Why is it mentally detrimental to our health? Well, a couple of reasons. If you are doing a crash diet, then they're not nice. They are not nice, right? They're really not. Most fad diets, and these are what you're going to do. I suppose I've maybe jumped the gun a little bit here. Why do we end up on this roller coaster of weight loss? There's a couple of reasons. There is a couple of reasons. Actually, let me finish off that last point about why it's mentally detrimental, and then I'll go into why we end up on these. Obviously, one of the reasons is our approach, because I've mentioned fad diets or crash diets a lot. But yeah, why is it mentally destructive? Well, obviously, if you are doing a weight loss method that is 800 calories a day, it's brutal. Trying to stick to something like that, feeling hungry all the time, feeling, lethargic, no energy all the time, that is mentally draining. It really, really is. Likewise, on a weight loss journey, it destroys your confidence, certainly when it comes to weight loss. If you've tried to lose weight 20, 30 times and failed every time, your confidence is shot. It's absolutely shot to pieces. I get so many people coming to me, and inquiring about my one-to-one plan. By the way, this. I'll get this little plug in while I'm talking about it, because I do get a lot of inquiries for my one-to-one plan where people have basically said, "I've tried everything." And when you write that sentence, you're basically saying, "I'm at my wit's end when it comes to weight loss," and so many people are like that. You haven't tried everything if you've not worked with me. It's what I do. I'm an online weight loss coach. I started in April. Actually, I took my first clients on in April, and they started on plan the first Monday of May 2021. So I've been doing this now for just over 3 years, and I keep a running total. And so far, my clients have lost a combined 11,000 pounds of body fat. So if you want to add to those numbers, I will put all the details of how I can help you and coming onto my one-to-one plan in the description of this podcast. So yeah, it's mentally taxing, and to keep trying and failing over and over again, it destroys you mentally. It destroys your confidence, it destroys your self-esteem, it destroys your self-worth, it makes you feel pretty damn useless, and that is not good. So many people's confidence and like I say, yes, self-esteem, self-worth has been destroyed because of the amount of times they've tried and failed to lose weight, and are currently sat a lot heavier than they were when they first went on a diet. But it's not your fault. It really, really isn't. So why do we end up on this roller coaster of weight loss? So you might have guessed, one big reason is the method. The method we take on board to lose weight, the approach. Weight loss methods. Slimming World is a weight loss method. Weight Watchers is a weight loss method. The ketogenic diet is a weight loss method. Slim Fast Shakes, weight loss method. Years ago, you'd have the Special K diet, weight loss method. There's loads of them out there. The 5-2, the paleo diet. The big one at the moment, the carnivore diet, which is basically an extreme ketogenic diet. Intermittent fasting, the Cambridge plan, Zanti, like I say, look, all the juice diets like Juice Plus and Herbalife. There's diets everywhere, and every diet that I've just mentioned, they have a few things in common, but one thing they definitely have in common is They are restrictive. They are overly restrictive. They are unsustainable. They are not a long-term solution. I always say this, it's something I ask a lot. I ask it a lot on my social media lives. And you need to ask yourself this question and you need to answer it, truthfully. Whatever you're doing today to lose weight, you should be willing to do it for the rest of your life. You didn't gain your weight issue overnight, therefore it's going to take a good while to sort it out. Once you've sorted out your weight issue, things need to stay in place so you get off this roller coaster, so you don't gain all your weight back that you spent a long time, or maybe even a short time, but you spent a good amount of time and put a good amount of effort in trying to lose. And, ask yourself this, are you really happy not eating carbohydrates? Weight loss has to be a lifestyle change for successful weight loss journeys. It has to be a lifestyle change. There is a difference, as I've already said, between successful weight loss and a successful weight loss journey, or weight loss success and a successful weight loss journey. Successful weight loss is just losing weight, right? And you'll do that, as I've already said, sticking to any weight loss method. A successful weight loss journey is losing weight and maintaining that loss, keeping it off. And that's what not many people do. And that is what you'll do if you step off the roller coaster of weight loss. And all these approaches, they have a dead end. You will crash and burn on them long before you hit your goal. Obviously, certain fad diets are more sustainable than others, and certain fad diets are healthier than others. Slimming World, I slate Slimming World quite a bit. And it's not, I don't blame people that go to Slimming World. It's the actual regime itself. But out of all the fad diets out there, Slimming World is very detrimental to our mental health because it's very restrictive. A lot of the foods that we enjoy, are sinned. And the sin system with Slimming World is very tight, right? You do not get many sins whatsoever. It's also, using very negative terminology where even if it fits in with your sins, when you have a Mars bar, you feel like you're doing something wrong. But overall, with Slimming World, you've got your free foods, you've got your healthy A's, you've got your healthy A's, you've got your B foods. You're never going to be malnourished on it. And that's why it's probably one of the more longer term fad diets out there. Whereas if we take something like the Cambridge plan, where you have a 200 calorie shake or bar for breakfast, a 200 calorie shake or bar for your lunch, and then you have, either one of their little packet things for your tea, or you make a healthy tea for 400 calories. It's an 800 calorie a day diet, right? Most people crash and burn on that one very, very quickly. The more restricted the diet is, the faster you are going to crash and burn. Yes, you will see quick results. So, someone that does the Cambridge plan, if you can stick to it for 3 months, you might see 2-3 stone weight loss, right? But you'll gain it all back and probably more. So it's pointless. It really, really is pointless. And along the way of losing all this weight and then gaining it back, think about what it's doing to your mental health. So that's one reason. It is the approach. It is the method. We try and lose weight. It's unrealistic. Weight loss needs to fit into your everyday life. And you ain't fitting weight loss into your everyday life if you're doing alternate day fasting. You eat on Monday, you don't eat Tuesday. You eat on Wednesday, you don't eat Thursday. You eat on Friday, you don't eat Saturday. It's just bonkers the lengths people will go to try and sort out their weight issues. And again, it's not their fault. It's not your fault. The more you try and fail at something, the more vulnerable you become. The more vulnerable you become, the more desperate you become. And that's why people will try anything. And that is, again, unfortunately, why so many people are influenced in the wrong way when it comes to weight loss and are sold down the river. I've been guilty of it many a time because it's desperation. You'll never con someone that's not desperate, but it's very, very easy to con people that are desperate. It's very, very rare you'll see a wealthy person get ripped off by an online phone scam. But people that don't have a lot of money, that have their last 300-400 quid in the bank, and they might have a bill coming up that's £1,000, they haven't got a clue. It's kind of like, I've got nothing else to lose, so I might as well see. And next thing, they've been scammed out of their last 400 quid and they're absolutely broke, right? you know, if someone tries to ring you up and you've got plenty of money in the bank and you're quite comfortable at the moment and they're trying to scam you out of 500 quid, you're probably quite clued up to it in a way. So, yeah, unfortunately, people desperate to lose weight are very, very vulnerable, and they are sold down the river by many a people. There's loads at the moment on social media that, you know, this is the way you need to lose body fat. They're walking around supermarkets, slating off different foods. They're walking around, and they know the audience that they're aiming at. They're aiming at the desperate people that, you know, will just try absolutely anything to try and gain this weight loss, you know, success that we've craved for years and years and years. Yet, as I've already said, we end up heavier. So the approach is one reason why we end up on this roller coaster of weight loss. Another reason is ourselves, is kind of self-sabotage, as it were. Weight loss makes us feel good about ourselves, and for whatever reason, a lot of us, you know, we don't understand what feeling good about ourselves is. It takes us out of our comfort zone, and it's a really sad state of affairs. I was like this, you know, my comfort zone, however miserable my life was, my comfort zone was being morbidly obese, being unfit, being unhealthy, living in a little cocoon, basically, in a bubble. But it's all I knew. I didn't know anything different. And to step out of that can be quite scary. You know, I couldn't even dream about the things I've done in the last 10 years since starting my weight loss journey, from, you know, traveling to the careers I've tried. You know, in 2014, I was struggling to get out of bed. In 2019, I set up my own personal training business. So within 5 years, I've gone from not being able to walk hardly, not ever setting foot in a gym in my entire life, to now working in a gym full time, running my own personal training business. And that's all down to weight loss. And that is, if someone had told me that in 2012, 2013, I would have laughed at them. People would have laughed at them, or my friends would have laughed at them. You know, and still sat here now, I'm like, it absolutely blows my mind the way my life went in what is relatively a short period of time. But, you know, it isn't our comfort zone, and we get very scared. It's human nature when you step out of your comfort zone. Likewise, I've already talked about how detrimental failing at weight loss so many times can be to our mental health. We have a lack of self-worth, a lack of confidence, you know, a lack of desire to improve ourselves. Everyone likes the idea of being fitter, healthier, lighter, thinner. But the honest truth is, most of us don't realise what's needed to get to that point. And yeah, it is. It's a tough one. It is a tough one. There's lots of different elements to self-sabotage, but, you know, it is a common reason why people fail on their weight loss journeys and then go straight back into old habits. Like I say, to get back to their comfort zone, or just a lack of self-worth. And lack of self-worth might not just be because you failed a good amount of times on your weight loss journeys over the years. You know, a lack of self-worth can be for other reasons. You know, I had a lack of self-worth because and this was one of the root causes of my obesity, was because I always craved love from my dad, and I didn't get any, or I never felt like I did. And I blamed myself for that. And I saw or looked for comfort in food. And, you know, it was quite brutal for me. Now, as an adult, I've sort of, you know, analysed it, digested it, understood it a little bit. My dad had a lot of mental health issues. He was bipolar type 2. He struggled with, you know, severe depression, manic depression. And it was all down to the fact that he was adopted. And, you know, God bless his soul, he's not with us anymore. But, you know, he was adopted. And from being a baby, his adoptive parents told him from being very young age that he was adopted, and he should be thankful that they adopted him. They weren't very nice people, if I'm being honest with you. And they told him the reason, and the reason his adoptive parents, they were kind of socialites around Blackpool. They loved the party scene, and they fell my dad's biological mum fell pregnant with him, and going out and about and drinking around Blackpool in the 40s was more important to them than bringing up a baby. And my dad's adoptive parents told him that and made him aware of that constantly, and that absolutely destroyed his own self-worth, his self-esteem. He just felt rejected all his life, and because of that he found it hard to then show love, certainly to me being a male, because he just saw himself in me. So it was a hard thing for me to understand that, but that was why my self-worth was low, and that's why I looked for comfort in food. And once you start using food as a coping mechanism for something like that, and I did that from being a very young person, from, my weight really started to rocket about 8 or 9 years of age. And that's kind of when I felt this rejection. I read a journal actually of my dad's. He was having therapy at the time, and he wrote in this journal, and I actually read it, and I didn't really understand it. I was only 9 years of age, but I did. And there were certain parts of that journal where he was writing about, as a 9-year-old child, I read, one of the worst days of my life was when I knew I was having a son. And, that was pretty brutal to read as a child. And that's what triggered my overeating. But that destroyed my self-esteem, my self-worth for a long time. For a long time. Now I understand as an adult, my dad was like, why he regretted having a son was because he just thought I'd grow up with his issues, and he had severe issues, and he didn't wish that on anybody. At the time, I just thought it was because he hated me because I was a boy. It wasn't, and it was tough. It was tough, and some people might be like, I'm not saying this. I just want to be open and honest, and I always am open and honest, or I try and be, and that triggered my overeating, but that caused a lot of self-sabotage throughout my life on my weight loss journeys. If I'm being honest with you, the method I started to use in 2014, I've not been a million miles away from that previously in my life, trying to lose weight. Just let's eat a bit healthier. Let's try and, move a bit more. Let's not go to any extremes. Let's still enjoy life a little bit. Let's still enjoy a takeaway. There's probably a couple of times I tried that, and I was, doing well, losing weight, feeling healthier, feeling happier. And then I hit this boundary, and the boundary wasn't the method I was using. The boundary was, that little devil on my shoulder. You're feeling happy, Neil. You don't deserve to feel happier. You're feeling healthy, Neil. You don't deserve to feel healthy. You've bought a t-shirt in a smaller clothes size. No, you should be a 6XL, Neil. That's, you shouldn't find it easier to walk about. This was the devil in me. And I self-sabotaged. And I'm very, probably fortunate, or, lucky maybe, or is it just the fact that I worked on my own mental health? When I started my weight loss journey in February 2014, I'd kind of silenced that devil. I kind of understood my demons a bit more, and therefore the need to self-sabotage wasn't there. So that can be a big reason why we end up on this roller coaster of weight loss. And I see it all the time with my online clients. My clients come on board with me. They are flying. Yeah, they're consistently losing weight. When they're checking in with me, I get messages, oh, this is amazing. I don't even feel like I'm on a diet. Great, that's how you should feel. I can't believe I can still enjoy a takeaway with the kids. I can't believe I can still, go out with my partner for a nice meal, every other week or whatever. Or, if it's my friend's birthday, I can still go out and have a couple of drinks, and I'm still consistently losing weight. I never thought that would be possible. And everything's swimmingly good. Scales are doing what they should. Measurements are doing what they should. Steps are improving, getting fitter, getting healthier. I can see their confidence rising as each check-in goes by, and then suddenly, bang, they disappear. Nothing. Right? And I don't chase my clients. I never have done. I've always had a philosophy. You've got to want to do this for yourself. I'm always here for every single one of my clients. If they reach out to me, I am there for them. But I don't text, oh, you've not checked in for a month. Where are you? I don't do that. I don't need to do that, because if you want this, and I've got plenty of clients that have been with me for 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 2 years, that even if they're not doing great, they still reach out, they're still accountable, they're still checking in, and we work through any issues. And I just feel you've got to have that inner want, because if I text people, why are you not checking in? Will that drive? No, it might do for 1 or 2, but not for a long-term success. You've got to want this for yourself. And just bam, radio silence. And next thing, 3-4 months down the line, they'll reach out and go, I just had a bit of something on, life took a bit of a downturn, this happened, that happened, and I'm back to square one, but I'm ready to go again. You're on the roller coaster of weight loss. You know, you've lost weight, you've done great over 10, 12, 14 weeks. And I'll be honest with him. And I'm like, you've not gone AWOL for 3 months because, you know, my kids were poorly, then my mum was poorly, then I stubbed my big toe so I couldn't get my steps in. You're trying to justify why things have gone AWOL for 3 or 4 months. Why things have gone AWOL for 3 or 4 months is like I've just said there. You stepped out your comfort zone, you're feeling good about yourself, but you've not suppressed that devil inside. That devil's popped up after 3 months. You're feeling happier, you're feeling healthier, you're looking great in your clothes. You don't deserve to feel like this. Boom. Self-sabotage, bang, straight back into old habits, overeating, punishing yourself with food. You might feel like you're rewarding yourself with food when really you're punishing yourself with food because it might taste good while you're eating it, but the guilt after eating it is what, you know, kills us inside, as it were. And boom, you're back to square one. So those are the 2 reasons why we end up on this roller coaster of weight loss. Which ones are relatable to you? Have a think about it. We've all been there. I've been on the roller coaster for years. Before 2014, you guys might be on it now. You'd be looking back. You might just be on the way up. You might have joined Slimming World in January, February, March. Life was great. You go at Slimming World each week. You're losing weight. You lost 1.5 stone. You got your 1 stone badge. You got your couple of slimmers of the week. Everything's lovely jubbly. Bang, something's happened, and now you've gained it all back, and you're the same weight now as you were before Christmas. Got to get off that roller coaster. But we need to understand why it's happening. Because if we don't understand why it's happening, you can't fix a problem unless you know what that problem is. Unless you know you've got a problem. A lot of fad diets make you believe it's your problem. Slimming World does that. Right? You know, after 3 months, you'll sit there going, if I just kept going, I'd have been great. But it's my fault because I stopped going to the meetings, or I stopped doing this, or I knew I'd gained, so I couldn't face, you know, Barbara at 7:30 on a Thursday night. So I thought I'll go next week when I've lost it, and then next thing you don't lose and you don't lose. It's a catch-22 circle that needs breaking, and that's what the roller coaster of weight loss is. So how do we step off it? How do we step off this roller coaster of weight loss? Well, you've got to tackle the 2 things that I've just said. Number 1, the roller coaster of weight loss has to be, to step off the roller coaster of weight loss, the method you're using, it has to be healthy, it has to be sustainable, but you have to be in the mindset that this isn't, you know, for a month, it isn't for 2 months, it isn't for 6 months. A long-term problem will always require a long-term solution. And I've already said this question once. Whatever you're doing now to lose weight, you need to be prepared to do it for the rest of your life. And that's where my long-term success has come from. Now, I don't mean you need to diet for the rest of your life. You need to just be weight loss, because obviously at some point in time, you're going to get to your goal. But it's the things that you put into place that needs to be around for the rest of your life. If I look at the things I've put into place from 2014, things like being more responsible with my calories, right? Being more responsible with portion control, being more responsible with what goes on my plate, being more responsible with what goes in my body, right? Yes, fat loss is just caused by calories in, calories out, a balance of energy. You know, if you consume less calories than you burn, the extra energy your body needs, it will get it from your stored body fat rather than from your food, and that will reduce your energy stores. Boom, there you go. You've got fat loss, aka weight loss, right? But, you know, there's things we need to put into place to be in that calorie deficit. And when we hit our goal weight, those things need to stay in place so we stick to our calorie maintenance. 3 energy balances, you know that. If you've certainly you do if you've listened to all my podcasts, so you follow me, the 3 energy balances: calorie surplus, calorie maintenance, calorie deficit. Calorie surplus, consuming more calories than you burn. This is what causes you to gain body fat. Calorie maintenance, consuming the same amount of calories as you burn, your body fat levels stay the same. Calorie deficit, consuming less calories than you burn. That's how we get consistent fat loss. Yeah. So the roller coaster of weight loss is calorie deficit for 3 months. Yeah. Calorie surplus for 6 months. Calorie deficit for 4 months. Calorie surplus for 5 months. And this is the down, up, down, up, down, up pattern that we end on, right? Calorie surplus should not be an option, right? Well, a calorie surplus can be an option once or twice a year. Maybe I would say up to a maximum of 4 weeks a year. Christmas, you're going to be in a calorie surplus. You should be consuming more calories than you burn over Christmas, right? All-inclusive holiday to Tenerife for a week. Yep, you've worked hard. You should not be sat there with your NutriCheck open on your sun lounger, inputting every strawberry daiquiri and pina colada that you have, right? It's just a week. Your weight issue is not caused by what you do some of the time. It's what you do most of the time that causes the weight issue. And that's exactly the same for weight loss, right? You know, your weight loss most of the time needs to be calorie, but it doesn't need to be all the time. So there are little pockets of time where a calorie surplus is acceptable, but not for long periods of time. You know, if your all-inclusive week in Tenerife my life was an all-inclusive holiday. Basically, that's what my life was, which is why I ended up being 37 stone. But the things that you put into your lifestyle to control your eating and to improve your overall calorie burn to make this healthy, sustainable calorie deficit needs to stay with you. And that's, you know, I look back at, you know, the first couple of months of my weight loss journey and I look back at my last 2 months of life now. Have I always worked at being more responsible with my calories? Yeah, I worked at being more responsible with my calories February, March, April 2014, April, May, June 2024. Yeah, I work at being more responsible with my calories. In 2014, I started to increase my steps, move more on a day-to-day basis. That's still a priority to me now, 10 years on. Exercise, 2 months into my weight loss journey. Now, exercise is not imperative. It's not the be-all and end-all of a weight loss journey, but it is a fantastic support tool. You know, I've already discussed here how, you know, poor mental health, feeling rejected from my dad, low self-esteem, low self-worth, not feeling great about myself, caused me to overeat calories to the point where I ended up being 37 stone. One of the best things I've ever done for my mental health. You can't fix antidepressants does not fix mental health, right? You go to the doctors, you're feeling down, blah, blah, blah. You end up on citalopram, sertraline. There's plenty of other antidepressants out there. That ain't fixing your mental health. You fix your mental health. What your antidepressants do is they try and put an equilibrium into your brain. They try and put some balance in there to get you to a point where you can start functioning a bit better and then you can work on your mental health. I know I was on sertraline on and off for a long time, right? But how I've improved my mental health is understanding a lot of my issues and sort of, like I say, digesting them in my mind and understanding them, as it were, but then putting things into my lifestyle that is positive for my mental health. And one of those things, one of the best things, is going to the gym and lifting weights. I absolutely love it. I started doing it in April, May 2014, and I still consistently do it now. This is the lifestyle change. The things that I started to implement 10 years ago are still part of my lifestyle now. And this is the problem with your crazy, weird and wonderful fad diets. You do Slimming World for, 3 months, and then you stop sinning your food. You do intermittent fasting for 3 months. You stop doing that. You start eating breakfast again and overeating at night time. You cut carbs out for 3 months. Bang, next thing you're back eating. You're not changing things permanently. You know, I was a very greedy person. My eating was out of control and I was a lazy person. And I've worked constantly on changing that and doing it in a manner where it becomes my life. That's my life now. It was a very abnormal thing when I started doing it. Now it's normal. And it's kind of, we are in a situation where the things that we probably did naturally 50, 60, 70 years ago when obesity wasn't a problem, you know, we kind of like, we see that as an abnormality now. We see people that go to the gym as being, you know, abnormal. Oh, you go to the gym. I remember this the first time, not the first time I went on holiday, but I went on holiday in 2016 and we went to Mexico and there was a really good gym in the hotel. And I think the previous holidays I'd had before that on my weight loss journey, I'd been to Benidorm in an apartment. That's all I've done. I think I've done Benidorm a couple of times in an apartment. Oh, and I've been to see one of my very good friends in France and stayed in his house. But this was the first time I'd actually been on holiday to a really nice hotel, and there was a gym. And I went to the gym, and the comments I got, I put a picture of myself in the gym on Instagram, on my Instagram stories, and then there was no such thing as the Real Lost Boss. It was just my own personal Instagram account. I'm just getting comments on it. Oh, you sad sod! What are you doing in the gym? You're on holiday. I love it. I enjoy it. You know, just like I enjoy having a beer and I'll do that on holiday. I enjoy training. I enjoy going to the gym. And that is so important to step off the roller coaster of weight loss, to put things into place to help us not only lose weight, but maintain those losses. You've not got to see it as a chore, right? It doesn't mean it doesn't take effort. So the way I've lost weight, you know, first week back after Christmas, straight back into the swing of things because I had a kebab on the Saturday night, right? Nothing's off limits. So it's not like, right, I'm going on a diet, you know, and you have to have the last supper before you go on a diet. It's not the way I coach weight loss. It's not the way I've done my own journey, and it's not the way I show my clients how to do it. It's not like, you know, right, for the next 6 months now, I'm just going to be a miserable sob because I can't go out, I can't have a beer, no. You can do all that and lose weight. You just need to do it responsibly within your calorie allowance. Every now and then you'll have a little blowout. I teach my clients how to do that. And this is how we step off this basically a non-reality way of losing weight. That's what fad diets are. They're not everyday life. They don't fit into everyday life. Your weight loss has to fit into everyday life. So you need to start implementing things into your life, and it needs to be implemented in a way that is going to stick. No extremes. No, I'm never eating this ever again. I'm not eating that ever again. You know, I'm going to go to the gym 6 times a week. I'm going to go for 2-hour walks every day. I love the fact that you might have that motivation, but the reality is it's not going to stick. It's not sustainable. You know, I average 11, well, I looked this morning actually, I'm averaging at the moment for 2024, 11,500 steps a day. And I do those steps because, you know, how have I done those steps today? Well, I've had a walk around the supermarket. I've had a walk around the gym. I've had a walk because I've jumped on the sunbeds because I'm going away this week. So I'm just topping my tan up a little bit. And that's been about it so far. And then after I've finished this recording, I'm going to go and walk the dogs. Then I'm going to come home and work for the afternoon. Then I'll have tea. Then I'll go and walk the dogs again. I don't do hours of walking a day. I just move more on a day-to-day basis. I'm just a lot more active nowadays than I was years ago. And I do little pockets. I haven't got time to go and walk for 2 hours a day. I maybe could if I didn't go to the gym, but I love going to the gym. I do enjoy going for a walk, but it's just the way I fitted it into and it fits into my lifestyle. It's not a chore. I'm not struggling for time to do it. It's just what it is, you know. Same with my eating, same with everything that I put into place. Same with my diet, same with tracking calories. You know, a big thing that I teach is averages. So we don't stick to set calories daily. We don't stick to set steps daily. We look at daily totals as an average and we work at weekly totals. It just gives us so much more flexibility. You know, some days you're going to be stupidly busy at work and you're going to be pinned to the desk a little bit. That day you might do 6,000 steps, right? But the next day, things might be a lot more chill and you might get a good hour for your dinner and you might get to finish work a little bit earlier. So on that day, you might do 12,000 steps and that kind of starts to make up for it. Likewise, when you've got days off, that is when you might go and do an hour and a half walk. You know, you might go and do a 2-hour walk and really top your steps up. Same with your eating. You know, when you're in that 9 to 5 Monday to Friday routine, this is what I'm like. I find controlling my calories an absolute cinch. I do. I'll hold my hands up. I don't find it a chore at all. It's just that routine. Where the danger is, and this is the same for a lot of people, is the weekend. And that's when I've really got to knuckle down and make sure I stay on it at the weekend. But when I do, at the end of the week, I've hit my ideal deficit, no extremes, and it just works for me. And you've got to find out what works for you. But what doesn't work is the crazy, weird, and wonderful fad diets. Healthy, sustainable weight loss, a bit of normality. And the only thing that ever changes in my life, the only thing that will ever change in my clients' lives when it comes to weight loss and then weight maintenance once they hit their goal is just the amount of calories they consume. You know, I ramp up their steps up to 10,000 steps a day or 8,000 steps a day. It all depends on ability and current fitness levels and where they're at the moment. But that's how we step off this roller coaster. You know, when I ramp your steps up to 10,000 steps a day, it's 10,000 steps, not 10,000 steps till you hit your goal weight. It's not 10,000 steps until 2030. It's 10,000 steps for as long as you are physically able to do 10,000 steps. You know, same with your eating. It's not, right, I'm just going to be more responsible with my calories until I hit my goal weight. No, you're going to be more responsible with your calories for the rest of your life. And you're going to eat consistently the calories for your current goal. If your current goal is weight loss, you eat calorie deficit. If your current goal is maintaining your losses, you eat calorie maintenance. Your current goal should never be, as a weight loss coach, gaining weight. Obviously, there are people out there that need to gain weight, not lose weight, and their goal might be gaining weight, but that's not one of my clients. So you have to, that's the lifestyle change. Whatever you're doing today to lose weight, the approach, and not just calories in, calories out. I'm talking about moving more on a day-to-day basis, improving your overall diet, protein, fiber into your diet, getting nice and hydrated, getting your steps in, hopefully get some regular exercise in. That's for life. That isn't a quick fix. It's not something you do to your goal weight. And if you can get that fixated in your mind, you'll stop clock watching. Right, when, you know, someone asked me this morning on a social media live, do I have to count calories for the rest of my life? I'm like, the fact you've asked that question means you're doing it wrong, because it shouldn't. When you say when, basically what you're saying is, when can I stop counting calories? If you want to stop doing something, it's not sustainable. Now, I'm not saying you need to count calories for the rest of your life. I'll do another podcast on that. You really, really don't. But you shouldn't have that want and desire to quit doing what you're doing now to control your weight. The other thing that you need to tackle to get off the roller coaster of weight loss is, just like I said, mental health, mentality, that self-sabotage. You've got to figure out, it's kind of going to the root of why you have a weight issue in the first place. And you've got to dig in. You know, you keep chopping the head off a dandelion, it will keep growing back. Right? You kill the root, it's gone for good. You've got to kill the root. If one of the reasons why, you know, you're doing a weight loss journey and you keep, you know, gain, you know, you lose for a bit, then you gain, you lose for a bit, then you gain, and it's because of self-sabotage, it's because of lack of self-worth, lack of self-confidence, that little devil, you don't deserve this, you don't deserve that. And there can be a number of reasons. For me, it was a little bit of childhood trauma. You know, for you, it could be a past relationship that's knocked all the confidence out of you. It could have been bullying as a child. You know, it could have been the way your parents treated you as a child. It could be, you know, the fact that you're just not very happy at the moment. You don't like your job, you don't like your situation, and you're constantly looking for food. And once you take that coping mechanism away, it'll always come back. Food should not be a coping mechanism for life. Just like alcohol shouldn't, just like drugs shouldn't, just like gambling shouldn't. It does become one. And that's where the addiction comes in, and that's where the need for it comes in. You'll never break an addiction, you'll never break emotional eating unless you solve the problem. Why do you need that crux? Why do you need that thing to hold you up? Crutch? You know what I mean? I think both terms might work. I have no idea. But why do you need it? You've got to face all these things. Weight loss, a successful weight loss journey, is not just about going to Slimming World, not eating carbohydrates, deciding I'm not going to eat between 8 p.m. at night and 2 p.m. the next day. That is a method, but it's not a sustainable method. Weight loss is about changing the things in your everyday life that has led you to be overweight, and also tackling the main issues, if there are main issues. I'm not saying there are for everyone, but it is a very common trend that I see of why you're using food as this coping mechanism, why you're using this food as an emotional sort of thing, as a distraction from everyday life, a distraction or a short-term quick fix just to make you feel good about yourself. What is the issues? You need to sort them out. And if you do those two things, you will permanently step off the roller coaster of weight loss. You will consistently lose weight. And if you want to step out of a weight loss phase, you'll quite comfortably manage a weight maintenance phase. And you'll just keep progressing forward. You'll keep going down on the scales, and you'll keep progressing forward in life and being happier and healthier and smiling a lot more. And that is what we want to do. And that is how you step off the roller coaster of weight loss. I've already said this in this podcast. If you need help stepping off that roller coaster of weight loss, that is what I do. I get my clients off the roller coaster and get them onto that nice, smooth sort of train ride, just plodding along, enjoying life and getting the results that you want at the same time. Okay, that's it for this episode. Any comments, any questions, please get them in. And any likes you can give, any positive feedback, any shares, tell people about the Real Lost Boss podcast, tell people about me. It would be mucho appreciato. I have no idea if that is even a language that I've just spoken. But anyway, there we go. And until the next podcast, I want you to make sure you are working at getting off the roller coaster and you are bossing your weight loss.